Give me a mic check.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we're good.
You know who that's from?
What, yeah, buddy?
Yeah.
No?
Are you shitting me?
Well, I don't know. Like, it just sounds like you saying, yeah, buddy.
It's Ronnie Coleman.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
You wanna hear?
Yeah. Oh, no, this is like Bentley. Ding.
Oh, that one little weird.
Yeah,
girl?
the one weird chick. So this is
Ghost. Did you shake it up or something?
No, it's been sitting there
Oh, I'm covered.
in ghost.
In ghost.
In ghost.
In ghost juice.
In ghost juice. I'm gonna sit over here with my tequila.
What is that? Tequila?
It's some tequila. It's an añejo.
A bendejo?
No, oh, no.
I don't know what that means, but I hear people.
They say it to you all the time. I bet they do.
You see, now everybody, this is why I don't drink.
You don't drink.
I know, but I'm saying, imagine if I was drunk. Okay, hey y'all.
Nick and Eli, we're here in Cabot, Pennsylvania, in the Church of John Moses Browning.
Literally.
Literally the Church of John Moses Browning.
Church.
Yeah, it is an actual church.
Yeah.
And we're excited to talk about a topic that should not be controversial, but can be controversial. You can want to make it controversial, but we're not going to make it controversial. It is just our version of red dot mounts on 1911s, or 911s, as some people like to affectionately call them. So, Eli, what do you think about red dots?
So, red dots. It is definitely a controversial topic. However, I think that, red dots are, well, it's not I think. Red dots are a growing industry. More and more pistols are having, pistols, not even just production guns, which, let's be honest, if you make a production gun that doesn't have a red dot mount these days, what the heck are you doing? Yeah. But, even with that in Alchemy, we are seeing more and more guns be produced and ordered with red dots, which is great. Of course, red dots do require a little bit of learning. There's some good learning curves. We're not going to get into that, but they are generally really good. I actually had a great experience the first time. You know what? The first time I really shot with a red dot was my Alchemy Quantica high cap.
So we broke your red dot cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And
good to know.
And I saw a lot of improvement immediately. Mm-hmm. When you're just standing there shooting, you'll see a lot of immediate improvement to your shooting. When you start getting on the move, when you start target transitioning, and when you start working from the holster especially, you'll notice that you really, that's where you need to work on the training for the red dot aspect.
Yeah, and I'll say, so I started shooting red dots in my the days when I was a heathen and I had a Glock 19. Yeah, I know. And
what the hell?
And my first red dot was actually a Chinese Holo Sun. And
why do you hate America?
Well, I don't anymore. I have.
You've been baptized.
I've been baptized in the waters of John Moses Browning. Yeah. So, but that was the first gun that I had with a red dot on it. I did transition to a Trijicon RMR on that specific pistol. Not saying anything about Holo Suns now. That one, it was the original 407, had to be sent back multiple times. On red dots, like I've broken every single red dot because dots, they're electronic.
Yeah.
Items on top of a pistol. At a certain point, they're all going to fail. So I'm not saying anything specific about that dot, but I did transition over to Trijicon, and now I am strictly Trijicon on my pistols. And
you transitioned to a man.
I transitioned
in that process.
Yeah, there's a lot of words we can no longer use, and trans is one of them. So yes, exactly. So, but getting down specifically to full-size dots on 1911s, 1911 slides are narrower than the Austrian variety that we shall not mention. And so full-size red dots like the Trijicon SRO, RMR, HD, RCR, the full-size Trijicon footprint and other footprints, which we don't currently support and don't really have any plans to at this time, they're too wide to fit on a 1911 slide. So
direct mill.
Direct mill, correct. Yes. There are alternatives to make that happen. There are some manufacturers that actually manufacture their slide with a wide base at the back, and you can do that. That's great.
Not my thing.
Not my jam. I like the traditional profile of it. So what we did when we created the Cabot red dot mount, which is also used on the Alchemy pistols, is we took the red dot and we wanted to mount it as low and far back as possible using a mounting system. So our plate system, the plate mounts to your slide, and then the red dot mounts to the plate.
Yes.
There are some benefits to this. It actually does. It can. I've heard people say it can provide some, vibration, cushioning to the red dot. I don't know how accurate that is because I've broken dots direct mill. I've broken dots with red dot mounts. It's a thing that you just have to be aware of. But it gets the dot as low and far back as possible while still having built-in backup iron sights on 100%. The back, which is very important for a couple of reasons. Number one, getting that, I know we're not talking about a rifle here, but I'm talking about height over bore. Your red dot does sit higher than your standard iron sights because it is just taller. So you want to have as little mechanical offset as possible so that when you're shooting up close, you have to hold over your target depending on where you have it zeroed. At a distance, the path is going to cross, and then you have to account for bullet drop. But it's a handgun, like you really shouldn't be, theoretically, having to account for bullet drop when you're shooting a handgun in a normal engagement. But having it as low and far back as possible gets that height over bore as low as possible. Also makes for maximum holster compatibility, which is very, very important if you're going to run something like the Trijicon SRO or the brand new RMR HD, because the hood of the SRO sticks out in front of the actual optic on an RMR. It sticks out in front of the footprint. So you want it back so the brass ejecting out of the ejection port does not hit it and have a tendency to come back in. I've seen that happen with other mounting systems, but also you can run an RMR HD or an SRO with Safariland 6390 style holsters and whatnot without any modifications. You look like you want to say something.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm letting you do this thing. I mean, this is, and especially I want you to talk about it because the red dot mount that we use for Alchemy is a Cabot thing.
It's the same. It's the same mount.
Cabot, but it's a Cabot product essentially.
Yeah.
I do want to mention too, if you ever have handled a Cabot with that red dot mount and then an Alchemy with the red dot mount, the Alchemy actually is lower.
It is not lower.
Well, I mean, it appears lower. Yes, the way the slide profile is, because of course you may not know this, but the Cabot frames and slides are not traditional 1911. It is a proprietary frame and slide to itself.
Correct.
On the Alchemies, we are using a more traditional frame and slide profile. And just to your point too, there is a lot of holster compatibility because it is shorter in height as well.
It is as low as you can possibly get it. If you look at an SRO on here, like you can't get lower. There's not any more material to get down lower. Get down. Oh God. Yes. Now it's in my head.
But no, of course, and in fact, and I'm biased, right? I'm biased, but I really think it's the best red dot mount out for a 1911.
Yep.
I know a lot of people, and just to touch on some things that I've heard from customers, a lot of folks are very hot for swappable. Red dot mounts. In my opinion, what we've done is we're not creating something that is, temporary. We want this red dot mount to stay there. We want it to be fixed and as strong as possible. And in doing so, you're not hot swapping these optics, or anything like that.
There's trade-offs. There's trade-offs to everything. Yeah. So to get it as low and far back and have backup iron sights, and be secure, we had to make some compromises, and one of those is that hot swappability. But here's the thing. I have never had a red dot gun that I'm like, oh, damn it, I really wish I could just shoot irons today. Because like this is a personal gun of mine, a prototype Nero, belligerent Nero from back in the day. I've never, actually this gun came with iron sights, and then I had it sent back to have the red dot mount cut on it. And this is my current carry gun as of right now. Like I cleared it because this is what I'm carrying as of today, because I have a carry gun rotation. But I've never once said I want to go back to irons. Now, maybe there are people that want to do that, and that's totally cool. But I just have dedicated irons guns, dedicated red dot guns, and then I know what it's all about. Now, a couple things I want to talk about the mount too. This mount, the mount plate is stainless steel. So a lot of plates are aluminum or aluminum, and this is actually a stainless steel plate, which is going to give it more rigidity and strength. Now let's talk about front sights, because with the red dot mount, it has built-in backup iron sights that are black serrated only.
Only option.
There's if you ever want to pull another drop down, it's going to disappear. for any other option, or it should if the website's functioning properly, and on an Alchemy. And so you won't be able to select any other backup sights or front sights. We have to have a specific height front sight for the proper co-witness to get a proper hold at 15 yards. And when we were going on Alchemy, there was one sight available with the proper height and the proper cut and the proper width that we wanted, and it happened to be a fiber optic front sight.
Correct.
So we started with that, and we have stuck with that. Now, I know some people, like if you look at the Cabot here on Cabot, we only do black serrated front sights that are the proper co-witness height because it's a backup sight. So it works on Alchemy because that's what was available, but what we found is some people like it. If you don't like it, here's what's great. Melt that sucker out. You can cover it with some Sharpie. You can actually buy blank black fiber optic rods to put in there. So if you want a black one, that is, you know, totally, if that's your taste, if you want black ones, you can put it in there and you're good to go.
And there's two things here to note. We will do green. I know there's some folks who have, you know, color issues. So we will do green fiber optic. We obviously do the red as a standard. That's the standard color you'll get. But, you know, and I'm about to hit y'all with some stuff, okay? Y'all may not like this. Well, you don't care. But they may not. People get into this whole deal about the front sight on a red dot gun. Let me tell you what I've never thought about when I've been shooting a red dot gun.
My front sight.
Because I am completely target focused with, you know, and a red dot really aids in my target focusness.
Correct.
Focusedness.
Yes.
Whatever.
Your front sight focus.
And so.
Or target focus.
Correct. And so I actually have one of my Quantico high cap has a red fiber optic with the red dot, and then my Quantico single stack has a green fiber optic with the red dot. I have literally never experienced any, like half the time there could be a dancing lady, you know, naked on the front of that front sight. I probably wouldn't notice it just because I'm so
You're so
target
in. focused.
So, you know, I think that you know, a lot of people want to overcomplicate that particular aspect, which is something that actually in the custom 1911 world
is not uncommon. People like to complicate simple things.
And it's fine. That's what we're here for. You know, I get paid the bills because I'm answering questions.
Exactly.
And so I'm happy to answer them. But, you know, a lot of folks want to talk about, you know, this fiber optic and is that going to clash with the red dot?
Not in my experience.
No. And guess what? If it does, now you just... In my opinion, I don't look at red dots and approach them differently than irons. I use the exact same draw stroke. I use the exact same place, and because I want, you know, my sights are where those sights are.
Yeah,
you know, so
the gun's pointed in the proper direction. You have proper sight alignment, and that's the thing too. I mean, we should talk about that on red dots. Is red dots are not a fix all.
No.
And I'll say when I first started shooting red dots, it actually was a little bit slower for me because the way I was trained, and here's the thing about training, is it evolves. There's different opinions, and you use what works for you. So the way I was trained, my original draw stroke was to bring the gun up here, and it was actually canted a little bit to get that front sight in your sight plane, and then as you pushed out, your eye was focused. But this is when I was taught to shoot with a front sight focus. When I started doing some competitive shooting, I realized that front sight focus just ain't gonna work. You have to be 100% target focused. And it was actually at that time I made the transition from primarily irons to primarily red dot, and it aided in it, but it still took practice to have that red dot in the window. And also the other thing I like about red dots is it teaches you a lot about your grip because of the way the dot moves inside the window to show you how the gun is recoiling, how much it's moving back. Now, I don't think a gun needs to be perfectly flat all the time. There's different ways of shooting. I've seen people.
I'm so tired of hearing about
flat. But the thing is, there are a lot of people who understand how the gun's going to recoil, but it's all about how it settles back on the target and how you know that gun's point of aim is and how it's going to return, you know, to that settled 0 point. So red dots will give you that ability to see whether it's going up left, upright, straight up, to see where your grip is at and how the gun is recoiling in your hand. So lots of benefits to red dots, but I love our red dot mount.
And guess what? Listen, if you don't like red dots, that's fine. And if
don't
you
get
do,
one.
That's great too. I mean, it's one of those things.
It's like blonde versus brunette. Like, you know, my wife is brunette. She's very, very beautiful.
I do like dark-headed gals.
Well, then I guess we're both in agreement.
We're both.
That was not a controversial one.
You got to pick something else.
Chevy versus Ford?
Oh, okay. I'll take that. I mean, I still like Cadillacs. It doesn't matter.
I know, that's not even
Anyways,
going to work. We're too agreeable.
The red dots are great if you like them. If you don't, it don't matter. Just be proficient with them.
Yes.
No matter what you use. And one more thing. This will be the last thing. No cover plates.
Oh,
We're not doing a cover plate. I mean, that's just the kind of hard way to say that. But we're not doing a cover plate for these optics. The company's very much of the opinion, like if you're buying a red dot cut gun, you're going to put a red dot on it and leave it on
and
there.
keep it on there. Yeah.
So no cover plates at this time. And then as Nick mentioned, we are only offering the RMR, it's /SRO. It's the same footprint, but the RMR /SRO footprint
Full size
on the gun. And maybe down the road we might introduce other optics.
I get people that ask, can we cut it for a DPP? And I'm like, I mean, could we? Yes, but it's just not our jam. Like the thing about it is certain optics have different heights to where the co-witness sights wouldn't work.
Yep.
There's just certain sights that, optics that we don't really think belong on the gun. So we're not going to cut it for that.
Well, and we're just, at the end of the day, call it a bias, call it a favorite, call it whatever you want. We just like Trijicon.
I like Trijicon.
I like Trijicon, So anyways, with that, thanks so much for joining us. We have a good time talking to y'all.
Yes.
And that's all I've got. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Carry cocked and locked. We'll talk to you next week. Oh, are we doing that?
No, I'm just doing it.
Oh.
Do it 1, 2, 3.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I just did that to fuck with you.